Testing, testing. Welcome, Wickerson Studios. Pretty exciting here. I am extending the Rhino 7 Educational Lab GH Basic Curve menu. We're on to script 3, which is dealing in the Rhino Menu Bar, curves. And you can see line and then Rhino commands as you zoom in. I've looked into creating a single line segments, and then I'm using those line segments to come down here and explore making perpendicular lines from curves. So it's interesting that these curves themselves would be polylines, straight lines, but after you join the curves, they're still polylines, so they're not as smooth as a NURBS curve. But those curves, as this slides through, I've created a tangent point that I can reference along with the curve frame at that point. So you can grab the curve frame and you can grab here, and there is some interesting switching up that happens, and you have to think about that when dealing with robotic paths and such. And I don't have a robot, so I can just visualize this. I've deconstructed the other plane, and I thought I'd calculate the dot product as we go, which is kind of fun. You see this flips across from 1 and then gets a float number in here for some reason. But there is a vector here and a vector here that I've amplified. But I've also taken that and pushed it in the negative direction, so I can basically get a three-dimensional crosshair on where this point is. And then I've just created a line out from that point and piped it. But instead of just making that and having it be parametric, that you're using a slider to move from 0 to 1 as this moves across here, I thought it might be interesting to just change the lens length a bit. That's just something I did for optical here, which is kind of fun. And then I've used my very simple oscillation script of just grabbing a number, a data recorder, list length, and then using a multiplying factor to speed it up or slow it down so I can really get it going fast if I want. It's a pretty nice oscillation, just make you appreciate a script as you're going. I'm putting it through cosine and then an absolute value as it plugs through. Not too hard to script, but it's a very interesting way to think about generating perpendicular lines and pipes from a curve in all crosshair directions. So pretty interesting as it spins around. And of course, that's all being driven by way back to our initial script, that if I change my initial line, you can see that I definitely have to change where that crosshair is moving. So you can make some really fun parametric models as you go. And things get a little whacked, a little crazy here, which is kind of fun. I'm going to let it extend and zoom right up. And like I said, I've played in my... If you're wondering how I get these weird angles, it's pretty simple, and I like to play with it with my students because they find it fun. Jumping in here and going into your Properties tab, you could just change your lens length. So you can bring it down from 50 to something like 24 is probably more reasonable. There you go. So you can kind of zoom around like Jack and the Beanstalk here and have some fun. Look down your pipe and zoom up to the top. And that's an interesting side geometry, which I guess I'm in front of my geometry as I go. So pretty interesting. Okay. Well, that's it. Three-dimensional crosshair built in Rhino through a simple oscillation script, playing with creating a line, then building line segments with the ANEMONE node, and I share these scripts online, and then going into perpendicular from curve to build yourself these fun little crosshairs. I haven't even gotten into a playground just to build these simple nodes that do things. It's easy to write a playground script just to get things up and running. All right. Thanks very much for watching.